All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Very pleased to have back with us someone that we really rely on for her research. She's a guerrilla journalist, she's a science analyst, and she's been following this whole 5G issue very closely. Raphael O'Neill is with us. Raphael, welcome back.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Happy to be here.
Well, before we get into it, let's just define for our viewers who might be just watching this the first time, what is 5G?
5G is the next generation after 4G, which we've been going up in generations from our pager to our first big giant phone to our to our flip phones to the basic horrible internet to the smartphones is 4G, and now 5G. Faster download. You can be in real time, artificial reality. This is the baseline for the Internet of Things to come.
So 5G is rolling out all over the country, including New Orleans.
Yes, some places have already had the rollout land ahead of time. And now in New Orleans there's been a few towers, but it's been put in the charters. We fought to stop it, slow it down until a safety study could be provided. There was what we call the sham health panel without any medical experts, and ours were not facilitated to do telephone testimony.
And we're showing viewers a slide that you provided which shows some of the problems with these towers, and these are some of the towers that are going up, right?
Yeah, so we're putting these in certain mailboxes when we come across it, as we come across them, so that we can start informing the population that there's symptoms associated with the towers, and what those symptoms are is that way when they start experiencing them, because it is cumulative damage that takes place from electromagnetic frequency, and we're under many years now of layers of assault, and it's about to intensify even more with this. So that the people can recognize the symptoms and then learn that there are things that they can do to limit their exposure, as well as get on board and raising their voices and joining us in demanding these studies, which Louisiana was supposed to be the first
All
state.
right, so let's talk about that. The legislature passed, I guess, a resolution whereby there was going to be a study of the potential negative health effects of 5G. And you talked to, I guess, the author of the legislation, Representative Abramson, and what did he tell you?
He said some people had approached him to run the study, that even though he has some tech sponsorship, his intentions are good. I said, well, with all due respect, and he was very willing to listen to our story. I said, I would love for you to hear what we just experienced and what the problems already with the FCC guidelines to begin with. They're testing only the thermal effects of radiation, and only for a short period of time. We know there are non-thermal effects to non-ionizing radiation, and we're not exposed for a short period of time. We are in a blanket of overlapping fields, and our wish is to get City Hall to help us bring liability back to industry by giving us an interactive, user-friendly map that shows exactly who owns which tower, where, how much frequency they're putting out, and when. There's no reason why in the Internet of Things they can't read their own
So that's
emissions.
going to be what this study is going to provide, hopefully.
Well, hopefully, but apparently it's dead in its tracks right now. Let's just hope it's hurricane season.
Yes.
And speaking of which, there's another aspect to the resisting this in a way. It's being passed as sustainable technology, and we have to take a look at the whole sustainability narrative and make sure that it's not landing in the hands of industry once again. And we find that there are some things grossly missing from the table. We don't want to minimize or deny CO2. We're not minimizing, denying climate change. It's obviously there are things going on. This hurricane was interesting. I heard about it before it happened, like I did about Harvey before it happened, from a source in the military. Apparently the military has a day or two advanced knowledge. The most prominent greenhouse gas on Earth is not CO2. Do you know what it is?
Is it water vapor?
That's great. He's a little bit primed. Okay, but most people would guess CO2 or methane. Or that was an educated guess. I didn't prime him. He's a smart fellow. He puts it together. But it's true. 90% is water vapor, and it's supposedly insignificant because we can't affect. There's no anthropogenic effect on it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what has an effect on water vapor but microwaves? And we're not just talking about a couple cell towers. We're talking about a nationwide Doppler radar. We're talking about HAARP facilities all over the world, which are ionospheric heaters, admitted ionospheric heaters. Supposedly, they don't work in the frequencies that get absorbed, that absorb water, but they heat up the ionosphere, and when they do that, they move the jet stream. So that has anthropogenic effects. And NASA says even small changes in the location or abundance of clouds could change the climate more than the anticipated changes brought about by greenhouse gases, other greenhouse gases, because water vapor is one, human-produced aerosols, or other factors associated with global change. And that's NASA. And if you care about CO2, stop using glyphosate because it's destroying the soil microbiome.
And that is Roundup, correct?
Roundup, yes. And your gut microbiome is going missing as well. And we and the earth are one. We are not against the earth, we're for the earth, and we want it all on the table. So let's put some science back on the table and not call microwaves sustainable to humanity or life or climate.
Raphael, in our last few minutes here, I do want to talk about what people can do to sort of mitigate the potential damage of 5G. What can they do in their home?
Okay, well, already we've had people since our showing of the movie and our talk experience a little bit of relief and a good night's sleep by turning off their Wi-Fi at night, by putting their phone on airplane mode when they're not expecting calls, if they're in their car especially, getting off metal beds and springs, and the metal will pick up the radiation, so your underwire bras, you have to wear it for a special occasion, that's fine, but don't wear it all day long. Don't put your phone in your pocket. Don't put your change in your pocket and your phone around. Use a hard wire. Use hard wire on your landline. I mean, I know we like the Wi-Fi, but it's cumulative. So you may not have effects today, but will you in 5 years? Will your child, who has a smaller brain barrier to pass, as you saw in the movie. Generation Zapped is available online. It's very
and
affordable.
to let people know, Raphael sponsored a community event, and they showed a movie that was very educational. And one of the people in the movie had experienced cancer. She had years and years of keeping her phone really tucked up here in her bra, and that's where the cancer formed.
The tumor was like all around the 4 points of the phone.
It just goes to show you that I don't think we know exactly the health effects of these phones.
Well, we don't, and if we did, why would Louisiana say they would need a safety study? City Hall, we need to see those safety studies that convinced you that to just bypass the concerns for our health. Please, we're still asking.
Okay, Raphael, we're going to have to wrap it up, but we'll definitely have you back. Thank you for the work you're doing.
Thank you for your work and sharing this with the community and everything you share with us.
Definitely an important issue. All right, when we come back, folks, a motivational speaker that really has a great impact on young people. He'll join us next right here on Ringside.